necessitates active transformation to redress the state of the sector and improve areas of preferential procurement. It has now become critical for business and industry leaders to assess appropriate mechanisms to, one, address the fourth industrial revolution, which is commonly known as 4IR, in the most practical manner, and ensure that it is leveraged as a tool for growth. Secondly, identify opportunities to reskill existing talent and attract new talent within the sector. And thirdly, support and encourage entrepreneurial talent to drive job creation and expand the sector by creating access to market opportunities. The memorandum of December 2018 signed by Mutseng Investment Holdings, Kagiso Enterprises, Private Equity Fund, and as well as the South African Supplier Diversity Council, was a historic step that outlined a commitment on the part of the different parties to collaborate on the shared intent of establishing an enterprise development and incubation program for the commercial property sector. It really feels like the parties to this memorandum of understanding had asked themselves not what their country could do for them, but what they could do for their country. And the memorandum has become the answer. In the context where, as a developing economy with inherent structural and social imbalances, South Africa is facing the significant economic challenge of increasing growth in a manner that includes all South Africans. This step must be applauded. South Africa's GDP growth rate has come under considerable pressure over the past number of years, slowing down to below 1% as a result of many factors, including the lower global growth, considerable decline in commodity prices due to decreased demand, lower business and consumer confidence, and perceived investor concerns regarding policy certainty. On top of all that, the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020 pounced on a vulnerable South African economy. In fact, at the time the pandemic reached our shores, the South African economy had experienced 2 consecutive quarters of a recession. As a result, the COVID-19 pandemic deepened the economic crisis. Although the economic outlook has improved and there appears to be strong indicators of growth recovery, the projected rate of growth is not high enough to markedly reduce stubborn unemployment, widespread poverty, and persistent inequality. Inclusive growth requires broad-based transformation to break down the structural impediments to the new economic activities, enable millions of Black South Africans to generate income and accumulate capital, raise per capita incomes across the board. It needs to be recognized that South Africa remains locked in a low growth trap, characterized by economists as a structural constraint and an inhibiting factor in effectively addressing inherent inequality in the country. For example, the historical lack of investment in infrastructure in South Africa has negatively impacted on local industry, resulting in a loss of key skills and a decrease in manufacturing industry capabilities. Furthermore, economic inequality is further entrenched by the fact that 95% of the wealth is in the hands of 10% of the population, who are predominantly white and male. A recent study by the Competition Commission found South Africa's economy is among the most highly concentrated in the world, with 70% of economic sectors dominated by a few big players. Market dominance relates not only to specific sectors, but also to the economy as a whole, as Black people were deliberately prevented from participating in building their own economy. Inclusivity is now top of the agenda, and the competition policy review that looks at market dominance and how to address the structural challenge is currently taking place. To respond to this, government policies have been designed to address these imbalances and to act as catalysts of change for the benefit of South Africa. There is, however, a need for new and different conversations about what inclusive growth means and what instruments and actions are needed to make real economic participation among majority of citizens a reality. Over and above the need to create jobs for low-skilled segment of the population, key to this dialogue is the creation of and support for more Black entrepreneurs, with a strong focus on how to unlock new, scalable, and sustainable demand-based market opportunities. Of relevance to this process is the growing acknowledgement and increased implementation of enterprise and supplier development, albeit at this stage more focused on meeting legislative requirements and licensing commitments than that of driving true business and economic value. Since the inception of the democratic dispensation in South Africa, national and cascading provincial and local policy has been focused on addressing the unemployment, inequality, and poverty. In developing and legislating such policies, successful global best practice lessons from all over the world have been applied to ensure that our society and economy is transformed to be representative and inclusive. The focus on job creation and inclusive business practices has been central to legislation and implementation thereof through policy and regulation. But despite significant progress since the establishment of a democratic dispensation in 1994, the South African society, including the property sector, remains characterized by racially based income and other socioeconomic inequalities. This is not only unjust, but continues to inhibit South Africa's ability to achieve its full economic potential. This broad context of our economy is important to understand and is also instructive in terms of the need for various players to mutually support one another so as to grow the impact of various initiatives. Key to all these efforts is also collaboration between all social partners led by a capable state. The current conjuncture threatens to create a crisis while at the same time presenting an opportunity to reset the South African economy. It is an opportunity to re-engineer the structure of the economy in order to build a new inclusive economy that benefits all South Africans. Some of the best inventions have always come out of crisis situations throughout the history of human endeavor. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa correctly captured it when he said, and I quote, "We are determined not merely to return our economy to where it was before the coronavirus, but to forge a new economy in a new global reality, close quote. In the final analysis, all the players in South African economic space must seek to build a South African economy that meets all the needs of its citizens, an economy that will create enough jobs for all who seek employment, provide equitable distribution of income amongst all South Africans, and create a better life for all. Therefore, this program, the now there comes the trouble, PROPreneurX initiative is strongly supported, and its initial successes are applauded exactly because they are a contribution to that broad initiative. We all have no option but to persist. These challenges can and will be overcome in the long run. As one great philosopher once said, a problem does not arise until conditions for its solution have developed, close quote. These ideals we must strive for side by side, sparing neither courage nor strength until our prosperity is realized. As I congratulate our graduates, I would implore all of them and invite all of them to read a book by Louis Pearl, 21 Yaks and a Speedo, which is a testimony of tenacity, which is a testimony of commitment, and which is a testimony of going forward ever. Let me again congratulate the 24 graduates and wish them every success in their future. Mutseng, please do it again. Spread your wings. Kagiso, do what you know best. Contribute to transforming our country as you are doing, and we shall work together to ensure that we push our country forward ever and backward never. Thank you very much. Congratulations to our graduates. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for your words, Honorable Deputy Minister. The name PROPreneurX is definitely a tongue twister, but we hope that with more interaction with you and other government stakeholders, it will find its home. The key factor of economic transformation has reliance on policy support to attain sustainable business growth, and we are absolutely grateful for ongoing government intention to enable SMEs in highly untransformed parts of the economy. In fact, the key strategic objectives of the PROPreneurX program is to foster increased Black entrepreneurs and real participation in the economy and creating financially sustainable SMEs. We hope for an ongoing interaction with you to assist in fueling the program forward. The next part of our presentation will be done by Rapellang, who has traveled his journey very closely with the entrepreneurs as the PROPreneurX program coordinator. He will be presenting to us the entrepreneurs who are graduating today in the program. He will start with the cohort 1 that ended the program last year, June 2020, followed by a heartfelt message from one of the PROPreneurX, Tipuo Pagati. Thereafter, he will complete with the cohort 2. Hand over to you, Rapellang.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tebogo, and thank you very much for all the distinguished guests that we had, the Deputy Minister and Ms. Mankodi. We thank you very much for your commitment in the building of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, especially within the property sector. So my job is very simple, just to graduate and welcome our PROPreneurs that has been with us for the past 2 years now. So especially from the first cohort, and then we now had the second cohort from last year. And we had really, really incredible time with all of them. And I would have loved to play that video just to hear some of them, their testimonials, their testimonies, but due to technical glitches, I'm just going to be introducing each of them, starting with the first 12, and then reading out their profile just for you to know what exactly they do in their businesses. Okay, let me see if the screen is going to change. Okay, just a moment. Seems like my screen has freezed here. Is it showing the, Mr. Genius, is it showing the poster there?
It's showing, yeah, I think you can move up and down quickly. Let's see if it's working up.
Oh, okay.
I think you're good to go.
Thank you very much. So the first entrepreneur to graduate is Mrs. Mangaliso Kagetwani from We Create. And the company We Create is an architectural and interior design firm that defies conventional while incorporating sustainable development principles and bold sociological concept. So let's give it up for Mr. Mangaliso Kagetwani as he graduates. And then the next one to graduate is Ms. Bonolo Gay from Maikai. So Maikai is a wholly owned, Black female-owned real estate firm. We focus on multiple disciplines of commercial real estate, such as sourcing properties for clients, leasing and sales, and advisory on development and asset management. Our entrepreneurial approach is driven by flexibility, innovation, and our ability to tailor solutions suitable for each of our clients. So let's give it up for Ms. Bonolo Gay. And the next one to graduate is Mr. Sfiso Madonsela. There are two directors business from Bito Puti. So Bito Puti is a leader in building maintenance and construction services with an uncompromising commitment to safety, health, environment, and quality, which is the SHAC. We do this through the combination of our employees based on mutual trust, transparency, accountability, and discipline. We provide services to both the commercial and the residential sector. So let's give it up for Mr. Sfiso Madonsela. And the next one up is Mr. Teboho Shirinda from Shirinda Trading and Projects. So Shirinda Trading and Project was established to provide clients with reliable solutions to their complex construction challenges using creative methods and cutting-edge delivery systems. We provide expertise across the whole construction industry spectrum, from smaller renovations to multi-million projects. We are building and maintenance specialists. And also just to say something that through the intervention of SASDEC, Mr. Shirinda was able to secure a contract of about over 900,000, so that he was able to complete, I think, around about last year. So they are from Mbumba, and that was also done through the intervention of Ms. Ipelem Kari. So thank you very much for that. So let's give it up for Mr. Teboho Shirinda. And the next one is Ms. Mpo Nangu from Nangu Facilities Management. And Nangu Facilities Management, we take care of our customers' building to maintain and keep a warm, welcome, friendly environment so that they can focus on their core business and to become proactive and profitable. We are a facilities management specialist. And let's give it up for Ms. Nangu. The next one graduating is Mr. Spumi Mabena. Mr. Spumi Mabena is from SI Investment or Sipumelele Investment. So our sole objective is rendering differentiated construction, repairs, and maintenance services, and to be a supplier of choice. Our services include, but not limited to, civil, building, and construction. So let's give it up for Mr. Spumi Mabena for his graduation. And the next one up is Mrs. Mokadi Letsoalo from Libloid Trading. So Libloid Trading has quickly grown to become one of the leading full-service property restoration companies. We are a 100% Black women-owned organization that prides itself in delivering professional service on time and within the budget. So let's give it up again for Ms. Mokadi Letsoalo. And the next one is Malisela Peter Kumboyo from LP Refrigerations. So at LP Refrigeration, we are a 100% Black-owned township-based company offering services as contractors of the HVAC system or the heating, ventilation, aircon, and cooling systems. We supply, install, repair, and service air-conditioned fans, heating, and refrigerators. So let's give it up for Mr. Malisela Peter. So the next one up is Mr. Pasika Lesulan. So from WHC, or Water Hygiene Convenience. So WHC is a multinational award-winning water management solutions company that focus on providing innovative water solutions and servicing both the private sector and the public sector. WHC flagship innovation is the WHC leakless valve, which is a proudly South African product that detects leaks and save up to 70% of water that would have been lost through toilet leaks, also saving the money that would have been lost paying for the water. The WHC leakless valve is patented in over 40 countries. And some of their contacts are there if you want to have a conversation with them. Each and every slide has got their contacts there, or you can contact us to be able to provide contacts so that you can interact with our entrepreneurs directly. So let's give it up for Mr. Pasika Lesuan. And the next one up is also two directors. So that's Ndokozo Toka and Gugu. So, and at Kondwani Holdings, from Kondwani Holdings. So Kondwani Group currently provide bespoke fencing solutions for securing sites, steel works like facades and waste management. So let's give it up for Ndokozo and Gugu. And then the next one up is Ezekiel Rata from Easy Technical Services. So Easy Technical Services is an emerging business founded by two young entrepreneurs. We specialize in HVAC, installation, maintenance, repairs, sales, etc. And also the electrical security system and all office supplies. And the next one and the last one from cohort 1, that is Dipuo Pakati, who will also be sharing her story shortly, from Tandecka Cabinets. So at Tandecka Cabinets, we design, manufacture, and install custom-made cabinetry, which include kitchen units, built-in cupboards, bathroom vanities, office furniture, office kitchenettes, and offer lockers. We have an offering for new and renovating homes and new and renovating businesses and corporate. So this was the last one for all the graduates from the cohort 1. And let's just give them a round of applause. Maybe if I can just see the hands going up on the on your profiles there, even though we are doing it virtually. Can we just see some hands going up? Just before we welcome Dipuo to share with us her journey with PROPreneurX. So Dipuo, over to you.
Rapelang, can you see me and hear me?
We can
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. As introduced, I am Dipuo Pagate, and I was part of cohort 1 of PROPreneurX. And I would like to start by being grateful for this opportunity to represent the cohort. It really has been an experience for all of us. And it's just also heartening to see everybody connecting again today. So far, it's a great session for me. So a bit about my business. I own a company. I own and run a company called Tandecka Gomez. As described, we design, manufacture, and install customized kitchen units and other building cupboards, mostly servicing the residential and the commercial market. Our business is basically a carpentry business. So I think coming into the program, I was really intentional about why I wanted to join this program. This particular program appealed to me because of it being sector focused. So I had done, I think, 2 other programs that were pretty much generic with other entrepreneurs from all other sectors. But I think this one was more special because, you know, I was going to be in a program where some of the challenges that I'm experiencing, most people will understand and they will know, because we are all on the property sector, we are all servicing the construction value chain. So this is what appealed to me in this program. And another thing is that I think as the stakeholders has explained, Mankodi, with their vision from Kagiso Trust, I think also with us SMEs, when we are going into these programs, what we should do is that really know why are you going into this program and what do you want to get out of it? Because everybody going into these ED or ESD interventions has their visions, they have their expectations. So I think also us as SMEs, we must be very clear about why am I doing this and what do I want to get out of it? And at the end, can I really say that, you know, I went in there expecting this and then my business has changed because I've learned 1, 2, and 3. So just from that, I will share 3 things that I learned from this program. So when I started this program, the first issue that I had and the one thing that I wanted to learn is how do I become less operational and more strategic in my business? So I think my business was about 2 years old, which is, I think, last year, because I had started my business in 2017 as a side hustle, but I quit corporate to go full-time into business in 2019. So obviously starting into business, you know, you are very much operational. You are there at work, checking people, checking products. And I wanted to move out of that and actually be more strategic, see where I can place my business, who do I need to market to, who do I need to speak to, you know, in order to catapult my business and actually grow and develop even further. And I think that's where the master classes came into play. I think one of the very first master classes we had was about strategy. And for me, what I learned from that class is know your why of going into business. The lesson there is that a business is more than about products and services. Know why, what is your why going into it? Is it some of the things that Osma Mankodi mentioned, like poverty alleviation, reduction of unemployment with the youth, you know? Is it other factors like Osis Nokolo mentioned, like economic transformation and maybe upskilling the youth? So basically for me, that really appealed to me. And I was able to slowly but surely move from operations and be more strategic and know why did I start this? You know, going back to basics, like we always say. So that's the first lesson I learned and I liked. One of the other master classes that appealed to me was the sales and marketing class. And there, what I learned the most was that, you know, we should actually stop or slow down on selling products and services. What we should be doing is meeting the customer's point of need. How do you meet the customers at their point of need? How do you solve the customer's problems? And for me, that answered a lot of questions about why are some of my consultation not being converted into sales. Am I solving the customer's problems? Am I meeting them at their point of need? The customer has a certain budget. Am I meeting that? They have certain expectations in terms of turnaround times and all of that. So that's another lesson that has really been impactful in my business. Another thing going into the program that I wanted to do is collaborate. Like we've heard, I think multiple times, collaboration is key. If you want to go far, you have to learn how to collaborate with people. So in my line of business, obviously in the construction value chain, there are lots more people that come before me, like developers, architects, builders, but there are other people that come, at the same time as me with carpentry, or after me, with things like interior design and plumbing and air cons and stuff like that. And I wanted to really build a network of trusted suppliers that I could go into projects with. So who better to go into a project with and refer your clients to than people who have been in the same program as you? You've sat down in the same classes, you've discussed the challenges. So, for me, that was gold. The fact that when I was looking for factory space, I collaborated with Bonolo in order to help me find factory spaces as she deals with commercial leasing. I recently did a project with Libloid Trading for a residential project in 4 ways because, as I was working on the kitchen cupboards and all of that, my customer wanted some walls to be broken down and some renovations. So I collaborated there. Another collaboration that I often do is Smanga, who's an architect, who's in architecture and interior design. We often refer each other's businesses. Whether it's Dipo, I have this client, I've been dealing with this client and they are ready for cupboards. Can you come in? Or maybe something from me where I'm like, Smanga, I'm done with this client. I'm done with the kitchens, wardrobes, whatever. And they want to do more into interior design, whether it's couches and whatnot. So basically, collaboration is key. And for me, I think I have been so lucky to find everybody that I was in the class with, because I'm happy to share even with my clients who either want air cons or they've got plumbing problems. I have someone to refer them to and someone that I can trust. So that's another lesson that I learned. And lastly, the one thing that I wanted to learn from this program, and that was also communicated from the beginning of the program, is how do I go from the residential market and into the commercial and retail market? Because I had been pretty dominant and doing well in the residential market, but I wasn't able to crack the commercial market. And I would often ask myself, who do I market to? Do I speak to builders? Do I speak to developers? Do I speak to space planners? Who must I market to? And all of that. And I think after the lessons, the master classes, the mentoring that we've gone through, I had the wonderful opportunity of gaining a session with Ipileng herself. And fast forward to now, where I am on my second project for Eskom, where I'm doing, I first started doing office renovations and the carpentry and joinery work at Tutuka Power Station. And due to the success of that project, now I'm busy with Duva Power Station, where they are also doing office renovations. And for me, these are my first corporate or commercial clients. As I said, I was very much dominant. And in the beginning of the program, I wanted to learn, how do I prepare myself for this market? How do I gear myself up? And one of the key lessons there is that compliance is also key. And, most SMEs, we struggle to crack that market because we don't have our compliance in order. And yeah, that's one of the big things that I have learned. So yeah, you know, those have been my lessons. Those have been the things that I wanted to learn from the beginning. And fast forward to now, you know, a lot has happened in my business. My business has grown. I myself as a person have developed. So I'm deeply, deeply grateful for the opportunity from the stakeholders and from my fellow PROPreneurX SMEs. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words, Dipuo, for sharing your journey. I believe it's an experience and a testimony for all other graduates. One of the key challenges with the program that we have as PROPreneurX was always the question of transition of skills development that translate into what you have explained into your business. And it's good to hear that the skills that you've acquired has now transitioned into making you who you are. And without picking anyone over the other, because you're all important to us as graduates, I would like to share the words that Mpho Nangu of Nangu Facilities, one of the graduates today also, she's in the cohort one, once mentioned in one of the master classes that we held last year. That whatever she learned from this program will be shared with others who might have not been lucky to be in the program. And I think with those words, it demonstrates the caliber of entrepreneurs we have in the PROPreneurX program. And as a message, I hope in our spaces, we're able to share, collaborate, and impact others to strengthen the ecosystem. And with that said, I would like to welcome Rapelang to continue with the cohort 2 that we took in beginning of this year, and they are due for graduation today. Thank you very much.
All right, now thank you very much, Mr. Genius. So I'll just continue with our second cohort because I think it was a great thing for us to have really made sure that it's a joint graduation, just so that each of these cohorts can be able to see and learn from each other. And I'm really grateful and happy that they get to meet for the very first time in such a platform. So I'll continue with the next one who's graduating is Sisikelele Mlambisi or Masiki from Imvelo Studio. So Imvelo Studio is a dynamic architecture and office design practice bringing fresh and innovative concept to the design and build environment. Our approach is one of design generated from a mindful response to context and client's requirement, exploring new and innovative approaches to meet those requirements and ensuring to you the use of sustainable and environmentally sensitive measures wherever possible. Every project is designed, supervised, and constructed under meticulous attention. So that is from Sisikelela. So let's just give it up for Mr. Sisikelela. And then the next one up is Luwanda Wahena from JJSL Construction. And JJSL Construction is a property refurbishment and build infrastructure maintenance business that was established in 2008. It offers property services in South African region. Our services are reliable and cost-effective. We provide quality service such as petitions, sealing, and paint of properties. The business is 100% Black female owned and a level 1 BE contributor. Let's give it up for Luwanda. And the next one is Thapelo Mokotedi. So Thapelo Mokotedi from TP Mokotedi Property Maintenance and Services. So at TP Mokotedi Property Maintenance Service, we are a property renovations or building and maintenance, including cleaning, window, carpets, and painting. So let's just give it up for Mr. Thapelo. And the next one coming up is Tandecka Gomez. So Tandecka is from TSFM Facilities Management. So TSFM Facilities Management is a facilities management services company currently operating in the soft services, mainly in KZN. We have been operational for 6 years and employ 460 people. We are expanding our services to Gauteng and currently searching for opportunities in Gauteng and other provinces. Let's give it up for Tandecka there. And then the next one up, just a second. The next one up is Sipho Mahlangu from Gareto Electrical Engineering. So Gareto Electrical Engineering was born in 2015 in Pretoria. The electrical contracting company services the Pretoria community by doing electrical wiring in homes, shops, and factories. Over the years, Gareto Electrical Engineering earned a reputation for excellence, quality, and quick response. It soon became a major contractor in the Pretoria area. Let's give it up for Sipho, and the next one is Avela Mehlomakulu. So Avela from Avetandwa. So Avetandwa, we are a hygiene and cleaning services business. We provide day-to-day contractual cleaning. We have been operating since 2015. Our clients are in the public sector and private sector. Our reference speak for themselves. Our services is the best with high trained cleaning agents. We go all out for all our clients in their services. We provide and add value. Cleaning is our purpose, and we pride ourselves with the work we do. Deep cleaning, upholstery, and carpet cleaning, industrial cleaning, commercial cleaning, residential cleaning, fumigation, and disinfection. Let's give it up for Avela Mehlomakulu. He has just ventured also into the car wash. So I normally go and take my car to be washed there. So the best service ever that you can find. So do contact Avela as well if you want the car wash services around 4 ways. And the next one up is Milisani Manaswe from MISO. So MISO is a multidisciplinary company founded in 2014, incorporating architecture, interior design, space planning, and property development. Our philosophy is based on 4 principles of Ubuntu, Meraki, Seriti, and excellence. Our integrated approach to projects maximize value for our customers and end users. Through innovative solutions, high quality services, and execution, we service the local and international platforms within the residential, commercial, and retail sectors. So let's give it up for Milisani there. And the next one is Peptide. So Peptide is by Alicia Musweni. And Peptide is a multidisciplinary company that specializes with waste management and the development, implementation, and maintenance of health, safety, environment, and quality systems for construction, civil engineering, building, mining, petroleum and gas, road and earthworks, transportation, manufacturing, schools, and property in the property industry. So let's give it up for Alicia there. And the next one is Kagiso Makhatu from Kennedy Automation. So Kennedy Automation's growth since its inception in 2017 has been a remarkable one. It was established as a multidisciplinary engineering firm offering heating, cooling, and ventilation solutions in the field of healthcare, manufacturing, mining, power generation, food and beverage, commercial, and residential property sector. So let's give it up for Kagiso there. And then the next one is Lebohang Mabunda. Lebohang is from Ngqeto Africa, and Ngqeto Africa is a renovation and repairs for building and structures. We have worked with Brawl and Accelerate. We are looking at employing work artisan in the field of electrical and plumbing and structural. So let's give it up there for Lebohang. And the next one graduating is Smangele Shabalala from WMS. Trading Enterprise. So WMS Trading Enterprise is an engineering and project management business that was established in 2016. It offers engineering service in the sub-Saharan region. Our services are safe and cost-effective. We provide quality services such as designing, installation, and maintenance of power systems, aviation, civil works, and ICT. The business is 100% Black female owned and a level 1 BE contributor. And the next one up is, I suppose is the last one, Mr. Abraham Moloi from Libloid Design Group. So Libloid Design Group, a multidisciplinary built environment consulting firm specializing in architectural, civil, engineering, quantity surveying, project management, health and safety management, public participation, and electrical engineering. So these are our entrepreneurs that are graduating from PROPreneurX Cohort 1 as well as Cohort 2. So we are really excited to be graduating all of you, and thank you very much for having been part of the journey, and thank you so much for your cooperation. And definitely these are the businesses that were very high growth oriented, and some of you in the journey, we had various degrees of success in the intervention that we have worked with you in your businesses. But all what I can say, as we always say, is that this is still a journey that is ongoing. Graduation doesn't mean that this is now a place where we part ways, the PROPreneurX and you. So this is a continuous journey. All the stakeholders are still committed to assisting you in whichever way that they can assist in your businesses, and they are still committed to make sure that they walk this journey with you. And this is the commitment coming from PROPreneurX, that you are not alone. You have a partner in all of these stakeholders that are involved in the program. And very strategically today, we are definitely trying to rope in the Deputy Minister as much as we can, so that we display all of this business in front of her, and so that she can be able to push from her department to get some of the intervention that the department can provide, so that it can be able to assist some of the businesses like yourself. And the discussions are at an advanced stage. So the minister, I think she's very excited to see all the businesses. And I believe that maybe if the minister will still be there just before the program ends. So I would like to get a comment from the minister and maybe some of the commitment that we can get from the minister about some of the businesses that are here, and maybe what does the minister think, and what can she do from her department to assist small businesses like yourself. So Minister, please, just before the program end, do comment on that, and maybe just say something about where are the support and assistance that our entrepreneurs can get from your department. So I felt like I'm a program manager, so I should corner you a little bit on that. Apologies if I have overstepped the mark, but I believe that there is something that your department can do for entrepreneurs. So if you are still there just before the program ends, maybe just say a word or two about what your department can do for our entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. Teboho, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rapela. I know it comes from a very personal place, your plea. And thank you for the presentation. I definitely would have not thought 2 years ago we would be doing an online graduation, but today here we are. And I would like to say well done to all the graduates. We truly honor all of you and wish you nothing but success in your businesses. Your certification and a small token of appreciation gifts will follow in the next coming days. Please ensure to confirm the physical address you wish to receive the package with Rapelang. And also I will request Rapelang to upload the business profile, the presentation that you had on the chat box for an easy access. What has been key in developing this solution has been leveraging and arcing partnerships that are aligned to the intended vision. Partnership between Kagiso Trust, Motseng Investment Holdings, and Tandecka has been pivotal to the incorporation of PROPreneurX. And with that, I would like to welcome the CEO of Motseng, whom I've come to know the other name today, Ipele Mkari, to deliver the partnership message. Over to you, Ipele.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Teboho. Indeed, I do go by Ipele Mkari, and I fully accept DM's acknowledgement of my God-given or parent-given name. Really appreciate it. I am exceptionally honored, Honorable Deputy Minister Kivit, the CEO of Kagiso Trust, Memangodi, and your leadership chairperson, the CEO of SASDEC, Mr. Gary Joseph, our esteemed graduates and all of our guests. I just want to thank you so much for honoring PROPreneurX with your time to celebrate and congratulate our entrepreneurs. You know, a few days ago, a great son of the African soil passed over to new existence on the 17th of June, 2021. And that was Dr. Kenneth Caronda, a visionary statesman and the first president of the independent Zambia. He led his fellow countrymen as president between 1964 until 1991. And until his last final moments, he really was seen as a leading figure in his country's independence movement. What I've been struck by this amazing leader really has been one of his quotes that I love. And that's going to be part of the theme of what I want to just share in my leadership message to you. And that is the quote from Dr. Caronda that says, "Ambition never comes to an end." The theme of my message to you today is simply that, in the words of the late President Caronda, your ambition, graduates, can never come to an end. I really wish to join all of our stakeholders and partners to share my personal congratulations and pride to every single one of you on achieving this amazing milestone with PROPreneurX. As ambitious entrepreneurs, and as an entrepreneur myself, I'm only too aware of the major uphill battles that you face every day. Many of you have probably needed to sacrifice your time, your finances, your family relationships, and so much more along this journey. And then COVID came along and has continued to be in our lives. But look at you today. Here you are as a true testament to your ambition and your character. I truly, truly salute you. As I listened to our speakers, all of them speaking, I was really struck with so much emotion and pride and encouragement that indeed, with all the challenge that we are facing, we need to know that we are building an ecosystem, one which we can only take to greater heights. It is always going to be up to you, however, to start, and the world will then hear your call. However, I think, as we know, it is a momentous occasion for us to celebrate your graduation. But the reality that we need to acknowledge is that the South African economic environment is very challenging for entrepreneurs, particularly for small and medium-sized businesses. So, DM, it is by no small chance, in fact, it is quite deliberate, that we felt it important to invite you here today to share with you the progress of these amazing entrepreneurs. They are but small and medium-sized businesses who are charting a path very, very studiously on their own, in their own areas of business within the broader built environment. These entrepreneurs desire support, not just from government, but from business as well. And I'm very, very grateful that you are not here alone, DM. I know that there are some senior individuals who manage real estate within the department who are really, in my mind, poised to work stronger with the department and ourselves just to build the right relationships. And I really, really am urging all of those entrepreneurs to make sure that they continue to focus on their businesses. Because we know how difficult it is in this environment for small and medium-sized businesses. This is why the birth of PROPreneurX really had two objectives that I want to consistently remind us about. One, promotion. Two, access. The promotion and development of enterprises is such an important part of our South African government policy as we know it today. They're one of the biggest obstacles to empowerment and growth of small businesses in our economy is actually the high level of monopolization in the South African economy. Therefore, our stated and deliberate objective as a PROPreneurX was to focus on the growth of this particular sector so that we can begin to identify how to promote, but more importantly, how do we allow entrepreneurs to thrive in a monopolistic environment? Secondly, access to opportunities, to information, to technology and relationships is fundamental to match promotion with growth. You cannot grow if you do not have access. In fact, research has shown that once you begin to access and provide access for entrepreneurs to come into the mainstream, marginalized and disadvantaged entrepreneurs that are coming into the mainstream benefit greatly just from enhancing diversity, inclusion, and innovation. So it is in this regard that it is so important for us as PROPreneurX to continue to focus on small enterprises because we see them as a very effective means of decentralizing our economy and making sure that the generation of entrepreneurs to come is a different generation of leaders and business people. In fact, in our opinion, the political narrative needs to change from one of job creation and rather to enterprise creation. That, for me, is a dream that I really want to focus on. What South Africa needs are ambitious, hardworking entrepreneurs who are focused on building things and not consuming things. In the first quarter of 2021, the unemployment rate in South Africa rose to 32.6, as Mankodi told us, a staggering and disturbing statistic in light of the already challenging and difficult economic environment. As a patriotic South African, I dream of a day when our Minister of Finance talks about economic stats and begins to include the growth and decline of the entrepreneurship growth rate as a measure of our Republic's economic growth rate. We need to infuse a different mindset amongst our people that talks not just about getting jobs, but about creating jobs. You, as small and medium enterprises, contribute so much into these critical measures that will help us to unlock our current monopolistic and exclusionary economy. Entrepreneurship, quite honestly, in South Africa, can often be analogous to a war zone. It's a battleground. It's a battleground for ambitious entrepreneurs where tactical skills, weaponry, thinking warriors and leaders will become clear winners with a mindset that allows you to understand that whilst you might be born, you might also be culled, but you may also just grow. A Chinese strategist, Sun Tzu, a Chinese general, a military strategist and philosopher, is famously known to be able to translate military strategy to life and business. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat, close quote. So to you entrepreneurs, I congratulate you and I remind you that your strategy from here on is vital in business. Effective support is critical. To each of you, I say, and we all say, keep slaying, keep strategizing, keep focused on ambition, keep resilient in the face of challenge, keep collaborating. Today is your day, it's your moment. May your start ignite courage for many future entrepreneurs to better understand what is possible along this journey. In conclusion, my personal message to all the leaders out there is that may they know and understand that to create an inclusive economy, their role as government and as corporate stakeholders is the power they have to make decisions that can significantly impact on entrepreneurs' growth. Your leadership in supporting, encouraging, providing access and mentorship is incredibly important for our entrepreneurs. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and thank you all for your partnership.
Thank you very much, Ausipeleng, for your warm words. I hope you all draw inspiration from the words of encouragement that have been shared today, especially coming from people who have traveled this journey and also from people who are willing to support your journey. And I think the takeaway words for me would be truly that ambition never comes to an end. And with that, may I allow the other partner of ours, SASTEC CEO, Kerry Joseph. Kerry, I hand over to you.
I'm actually very proud to have been sitting and watching, as Rapalani shared, all of the entrepreneurs that went through the process of graduating today and seeing the resilience with which many of these businesses have operated, continue being around despite all of the adversity. Now, when we have a look at entering lockdown level 4 on Sunday, it was less traumatic than what we experienced last year, and that's an indication of how the world is changing. And Mr. Kivet mentioned the partnership between the SASDC, Kagisho Trust, and investment holdings as being opportune. I have to that sentiment, because in hindsight, the partnership was opportune at the time in which it was formed. The objective of deconstructing the industry, and it was critical to start doing so. But also, as we entered into COVID, and COVID hit the country hard. Why do I say it's opportune? Because one of the sectors that have been impacted mostly by the COVID-19 situation and all of the elements of adjustment that businesses need to make was the property industry as a whole. And this industry is going to be changing more and more in comparison to the past, with shareholders and investors in commercial property looking for more value to generate return on investment, as there seems to be a change in demand. And that change in demand is then looking for more innovative solutions that can provide them with that return on investment, and looking at other players within the value chain that can deliver that. There's a need for businesses that play within that space to adapt and to be ahead of the curve. And I believe that the value of this PROPreneurX program is one where you, as growing entrepreneurs, should see this as an opportunity and not as a threat. I believe that you should be leveraging what you have learned to competitively position yourself in this new normal that we find ourselves in. And your agility is going to be your biggest advantage. But I want you not to forget about the value of networking. The time that you've spent together learning is time well spent around building relationships in the future. Relationships that can add value to you as business owners, but also relationships that can add value to the entire network. So, having reflected on the value of the network and the networking that you have done, I encourage you to stay in touch with each other, to continue sharing opportunities, which I know there's been a lot of that taking place. But more importantly, buy from each other. If we want to support Black businesses and we want to support Black entrepreneurs, we need to be confident as entrepreneurs ourselves to buy from them. And then continue learning together. This continual learning is a critical component of growing your business. Key to the process going forward is embracing technology and using technology as part of the innovation that you have to bring within your organizational strategies to the marketplace. Please don't forget that an investment in knowledge is the best interest. And the investment that has been done through the activities with Cohort 1 and Cohort 2, the interest is what you will derive because of the time that you've injected into it. Also remember that any organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly will provide them with an ultimate competitive edge. I'd like to thank Deputy Minister Kivet for joining us today, and all of those wise words that she was sharing regarding the economy of South Africa and on what we need to do to change this economy and make it more representative of the people of this country, and that the economy becomes one that drives prosperity. I'd like to also thank Yidi for an excellent job. The passion with which Yidi implements this program and drives it is evident from Jayshree to Rapalang and all of the members of the Yidi team. And I'm sure that is one of the experiences from a customer perspective that you as graduates should also learn from, the way in which they went about supporting you on behalf of the partners. Motseng and Kagisha Trust, this partnership is one that I think can only continue going from strength to strength. And on the overall, as we look forward, I think we can look back and tell ourselves that it's a job excellently done, not just well done, but excellently done. But we need to still do more. And remind ourselves, as I'm consistently reminded, why Black suppliers matter within the South African landscape. As our graduates, I'd like to thank you for your commitment and appeal to you, never give up. We're here for you. The journey is not over. The journey is really just entering into its next stage, and this next stage is one where you apply what you have learned to your respective businesses. And through the application of that knowledge and the conversion thereof into a competitive skill, your success becomes our success. And your success is what we need within the country to create the jobs that is so much needed, to create the opportunities within the marketplace, to shift the way in which the marketplace operates, to shake it up, and to create a much more competitive economy that is representative of all South Africans. So well done to everybody, and let's all keep in touch. To the organizers of today, Rapalang, I know you had to do so without Jayshree being around, but yourself and Juniors, thank you very much for everything that you've done. And I'm really looking forward to cohort number 3 and the process starting sooner than later. So I'm sure that we will soon be convening as partners to look at what the next step would be. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Gary. We're encouraged by your passion for transformation of Black entrepreneurs. Absolutely agree with you. Yidi has done an excellent job in delivering this PROPreneurX program. As we come to the end of the celebration and monumental day, I had thrown in the chat room to find out if we can request our graduates to switch on their videos. I think it's only appropriate that we are able to see that the people we are here to celebrate today, they're actually here and with us. If I may request, those that are able to switch on their cameras, it is just to say hi, then we know you're here and that we really appreciate you.
Hi, Juniors. While you are there as well, I just wanted you to note that the minister also has the deputy minister has a pressing commitment to travel as well. So maybe if you can also give her an opportunity as soon as possible before, she's constrained with time. Yeah, just on the parting shot and, some of the things that she can share about what our entrepreneurs can expect from her department and, some of the collaboration we can have as PROPreneurX.
Thank you, Rapalang. I'm quite conscious of catching someone unprepared, but if the minister is prepared to do so, the floor is hers. But if it wasn't as planned, I think we can still be able to take up the conversation in a bit more structured manner and get the same results as intended. But I'm not quite sure.
Well, I thought I also wanted to share this wonderful moment of seeing our graduates.
Yes.
Because it's just for them to be allowed. I suppose the host blocked their cameras. If they were to be allowed to show their faces, but I can continue once they are doing so to truly appreciate once more the opportunity, especially the words from the welcoming words, as well as the parting shot from Ipileng. I think they really were both challenged us as a department. But I'm also, in fact, I wrote to her on the chat. I wish to apologize to our DDG. We have a Deputy Director General on the platform, Nielet Makubele, who is responsible for our property sector and initiatives in that space. She's online, and I only realized that after I had spoken, trying to see who's here. Those are the disadvantages of speaking first, because you may not know who's on the line. My apologies to you, Nyeleti, and I wish to let the audience understand the responsibility that you are next to the Director General in terms of the responsibility you have on the property industry as part of our program as the department. She will probably share with you the nights that I have held them hostage, asking what they are doing for women. And I think these are the kind of partnerships that we need to ensure that we lend a hand in driving, and strategies that will assist in tilting the balance of forces I had referred to earlier. And I'm happy that she's on the line, and I hope she's with her team on the line. But also, as a department, we have a unit that specifically looks at empowerment of women, youth, and people with disabilities. But that work cuts across all units in the department, various directorates, to ensure that in everything and anything they do, they contribute to this tilting of the balance of forces. So we are at one on the question of ensuring that we contribute not only to creation of jobs, but to ensuring that the ownership patterns of industry also change, because that is what is going to give true meaning to equality in South Africa. So I really do want to commit in her presence, that is in Ms. Makubele's presence, that as a department, we will work with yourselves. We have a number of structures that we work with in a collaborative way. And I am almost certain that we will find a way to work with yourselves as well, because we would want to see our youth, our women, our people with disabilities prospering in the same way that each and every South African would prosper. So let us agree that further engagements may take place outside of the platform, but you do have our support. The fact that I'm meeting with yourselves, I'm at the airport as I'm speaking, because some of us, the announcement by the president came whilst we are out there working in the field. Now we have to go back home, but that has not stopped us from making this time to ensure that we meet up with you, because we believe in what you do. And we know with the right kind of support, we will make a meaningful mark. Thank you very much for the opportunity once more to say to our graduates, let's join hands, let's work together. Don't despair. There's a lot ahead when you push hard enough, but let's assist each other in doing so. The correct words from our CEO of the Kagiso, as she said, as you lift, bring one along with you. We will continue to do so with all eagerness, with all our energies. But once more, thank you one and all. Thank you, Gary, for the kind words. Thanks one and all, and all the best to our graduates. Once more, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We do welcome the TDG, Nyeleti Makuele. We hope for a more structured conversation following the graduation. There's absolutely a need for a structured relationship as and when we implement this solution. And I think there's always a space where private and public stakeholders can play a role in really harnessing solutions like this. And with that, I was just having a look to see if we've been successful in getting some to switch on their cameras. I can see a few. I can see Mohadi. Oh, there we are. I can see Dipuo, Avela, Siskele. And with all those that I can't see, and I hope that as part of the experience today, having been here, this is testimony to when people decide to do things together. This is how it looks like. And with that, I would like to thank the Honorable Deputy Minister, Makola Kivit, including the DG, Nyeleti Makubela and the staff, our trustees of Kagiso Trust, our PROPreneurX, our graduates, and also mostly our implementation partner, Yidi, the CEO of Kagiso Trust, Mema Nkodi, and the CEO of Motseng, Ipele Mukari, and the CEO of Sastek, Joseph. And lastly, to all that made time to come and celebrate with us this journey of the PROPreneurX. The link for the actual video will be loaded, I think, on YouTube for all to see, and we sort of keep records of this prestigious day. And for that, I think we've come to an end of our graduation. And I hope it's not the end of the relationship with PROPreneurX. And I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'm just gonna end the video soon.
We don't want to go.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
No one wants to go.
Made it longer.